This marks the 6th shooting in Fort Wayne and Allen County in the last 5 days. The number of homicides in Fort Wayne so far this year is already in double digits. But how does that compare to other areas of the state? Tonight, we crunch those numbers and we go back to the studio with Lamar Holliday for that story.
Well, thank you, Alyssa. I looked at the homicides in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, and South Bend. I crunched some numbers to break down the number of homicides per capita to see how Fort Wayne stacks up, and the results might surprise you.
The city of Fort Wayne's tired of this, this violence.
5 shootings in 5 days. This is what's been plaguing the Fort Wayne community this week. Fort Wayne Police Chief Rusty York says if the city continues down this track, we could reach the city's average of homicides before the year's over.
I think this will be 11 just for Fort Wayne. And so, it is significant. We typically have about 25 homicides.
NewsChannel 15 wanted to know how the Summit City stacks up against other Indiana cities. We looked at Indianapolis and South Bend to break down the numbers. First, let's look at Fort Wayne. Our population is just over 255,000 from the start of the year until today. If the Hughes Street shooting is considered a homicide by the Allen County coroner, this will make 11 homicides this year. Around this time last year, we only had 4. Now take a look at the South Bend and Mishawaka area. The region's population is just about half our size with a little more than 100,000 people. From January 1st of this year until today, South Bend police tell me they've only had 1 homicide. That's down from last year at this time when that area was the same as Fort Wayne was at 4 homicides. Last, let's look at the state's capital. Indy's population is more than 800,000. From the beginning of this year until March 30th, Indy has had 30 homicides, a little less than half of Fort Wayne's homicides. Compared to last year around the same time, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department investigated 22 homicides. If we break that down per 100,000 people, for South Bend, it's still 1 homicide. For Fort Wayne, it's 4 homicides. That turns out to be more than Indianapolis, which is around 3 per 100,000 people. Chief York says he's pulling out all the stops to stop the gun violence in the Summit City.
The ATF, FBI, our officers, our gang officers, our NRT officers, they're going to be out on the street within the next 2 weeks, really focusing on known gang members.
And in light of today's shooting, the NAACP will hold a community meeting tomorrow at the Fort Wayne Police Department headquarters at noon to discuss ways to curb gun violence.